to my channel. My name is IJ and this is my channel, Tell IJ. And if you are watching from wherever in the world, I say good evening, good afternoon, and enjoy the show. And if you just stumbled across my video, please do not leave without hitting the like button, subscribe to support my channel, and share this video with your friends and family. So let's get into it. And this is a review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 16. And girl, have we got something for you. I don't know if you've been watching. I'd like you please to drop me a comment and let me know how you would rate this last episode on a level of, shall we say, over 10. So let's get started. I'll keep it short and sweet, as I always try to. And so we saw this episode from the last time, shows us Drew at home recovering. God bless Drew. She seemed like she was zonked out from her surgery and probably some medication during surgery, and she seemed to have had this awful injury with quite a lot of stitches. Anyway, Drew was there resting, and guess who walks in? Shereé. And if you guys remember, Drew and Shereé have been having a go at each other throughout this season. So to me, quite honestly, and I think reading other people's comments on the YouTube street, that was a little bit surprising. But like they say, sometimes you get to know who your friends are when times are hard or you are down. So Shereé came to say hello to Drew, and soon after, Sonia came in and joined them, and even Drew herself did make a comment that these two ladies were the last of the two people she would have expected, especially seeing how they all went back and forth on each other throughout the season. So they were there talking, and then somehow Sonia brought up what she heard from Shereé. Now, I must say, Shereé has always been known as the bone collector, and quite honestly, she seems like she's still good at being the bone collector, talking and saying things that kind of instigate other people, getting them angry or trying to, verbally attack the other person because you heard something. And I'm not quite sure what Shereé tries to gain whenever she goes behind to tell someone else what another person supposedly said about them. Anyway, so apparently Sam wanted to hear from Kenya because she tells Drew, Shereé, or she heard from Shereé that Kenya said her husband is aggressive or was aggressive, and then the camera flashes back and shows us that little scene where Kenya was expressing just a genuine expression, not like a bitter kind of gossip thing to Shereé, that she felt attacked and quite aggressive from Ross, Sonia's husband. Do you guys remember when he stood up at the dining table in Jamaica and more or less told the women, I think referring to Kenya and all other, not to attack his wife. And anyway, so Sonia, to my mind, it was quite a little bit childish. It's almost like, I don't know what it is with Sonia and Kenya, but to be honest, Sonia cannot match up to Kenya. Kenya is the queen of all shade. She handles herself with class, and really, quite honestly, we saw how she placed Sonia where she belonged last time. So Sonia now calls Kenya, and we saw them when she called Kenya seemed like she was sleeping or something, and she was like, hello. So I said, hello Kenya, did you say my husband Ross was or is aggressive or something like that? And Kenya was like, well, I wouldn't really, I'd listen to her. Can I call you back when I wake up? So obviously she thought Because even before then, she said something to me which was a bit aggressive. She said to Kenya, "Is your tongue tied now?" You know, without even giving her a chance. It's almost like she keeps poking. And quite honestly, if both of them are left, Kenya will just sweep the floor with silence. Let's get that straight. Anyway, so Kenya kind of dismissed her, backpedaled a little bit, and so that was that. And quite honestly, it looked like Kenya was sleeping. I mean, who wants to be woken up and you're asking me? And quite honestly, it sounded a bit childish as well to me. It's almost like just looking for any little thing. Even if she said your husband was aggressive, Tanya, so what? You know, so I don't understand, because that would have been Kenya's opinion. And she is entitled to her opinion. And though there are two sides to how Ross, Tanya's husband, dealt with the issue at the dining table, at the end of the day, as Kenya said, she's a single woman. She doesn't have a husband or a partner to defend her. Some people might say, oh yes, you are getting involved into women's affairs. And some people might look at it and say, yes, Ross, just like Ross himself explained in his confessions, saying, you know, no man would like to see his wife in a difficult position and not try to, you know, handle it. So, you know, two schools of thought there. But the truth is that his wife, Sanya, is no victim. She's no innocent lady. She's been instigating. She's been backstabbing. She's been, you know, let's be honest. And if you're going to poke on all these women, then Sanya, you know, get ready for what's coming at you. Anyway, so we saw that scene go past. And then it shows us Candy with Ace, their little son, hand thoughts, and apparently, you know, Ace doing some photographic shoots of audition kind of thing. So maybe getting him ready for modeling or acting. And he looks so cute and talks about, you know, hey, I am Ace. I've got peanuts stuck at the top of my mouth and it tastes so good. Anyway, that was cute. So we saw that scene, and I'm not surprised, you know, Todd is gifted, Candy is gifted, and obviously they're trying to push their kid ahead of the game. And so we saw, as the scene went ahead, we later came across where Shereé was supposed to be organizing the fashion models for her SUBSRIBERS products coming out soon. I mean, this is season 14, people. We've been hearing about SUBSRIBERS since season 1. In fact, everyone, including myself, we are rooting and praying for Shereé to make it this season. It's becoming a bit embarrassing. What a waste of 14 years when you could have knocked out a lot of merchandise. You could have made a lot of contacts, a lot of business. But anyway, I don't know, like everybody keeps asking, how does Shereé manage to keep her lifestyle going? That's a talk for another day. So anyway, we see her, and she tells the lady, who is a very pretty, you know, nice lady in her little boutique or something. I don't know what kind of store that is. And then what that was interesting. I mean, the lady herself, in my mind, I would have thought, oh, God, she looked religious. So what's she doing with modeling? But clearly, she's into fashion and design and knows what she's doing. And even though Shereé, for some reason, claimed she invested $1 million into this fashion show, which, let's be honest, some people paint around it. There's no evidence that show is going to be 1 million worth. I mean, if you said $7,000, maybe we might push it up to 10, but in no way that's up to $1 million. Come on, Shereé. I mean, we know Shereé can really paint pictures. When I first came across Shereé, I really thought she was this wealthy lady married to an ex-footballer. But as time goes on, you know, it's like the lady's going to do what she's going to do to keep up appearances, you know. And Word on the Street is already saying it on YouTube, according to one YouTube channel. Apparently, you know, rumors that she might be broke or what, I don't know. But that is the nature of some people's lives. Anyway, so Shereé tells the lady that she's inviting her friend being Kenya, and she's a lady that's been in the industry for a while, and she might be a little shady, but you know. So I thought to myself, Shereé, here we go again, the bone collector. Why are you telling this lady who hasn't met Kenya yet that your friend is coming? And just be aware she might be a bit mouthy and I'm just paraphrasing here, mouthy and shady. Anyway, Kenya eventually walks in, and it seems like for a little woman, she was bringing up a lot of points. Let's be honest, Kenya knew her stuff. You know, things like they didn't even have anything to write down the names of the so-called models. I mean, the models themselves didn't look like models. So like someone tried to explain, sometimes these are students who are still going through modeling schools. Everything looked amateur, let's be honest. And there was a bit of a tuffle with the lady Kenya saying, oh, why don't we have them walking that way? Which to me made sense. So when they're walking in, if you're going to audition to find the right models, you want to see where you're going to be able to see them walking in, isn't it? Anyway, so there's a bit of tuffle going back and forth with the shading. The lady, I can't remember her name, the owner from the small place, Shereé went to do the audition, which was quite a bit weird if you ask me. Anyway, and they went back and forth. And eventually, Kenya, you know, raised a lot of important business points. And Shereé just sits there. To be quite honest, looking at it, I'm not convinced Shereé is seriously going to bring us any serious Sheba Shereé. And if she does, I just hope, and I truly wish her well, that it's not just for the reunion or for this program. Because we want to see Sheba Shereé, you know, progress and go beyond 5-10 years like some of these housewives. Anyway, so we see that scene. Then later we see Drew talking to her mom, telling the mom about, you know, Ralph's book, and Ralph walks in, and the mom raised the issue of her being surprised that Ralph suddenly decided not to adopt Josiah. And they're trying to almost like guilt-tripping, saying, oh, when Josiah is older, he's going to hold Ralph responsible for not adopting him or whatever. And then I actually had to replay to listen to what Ralph's reasons were. And I personally, in my opinion, can't understand. And I respect what Ralph said, because he said, and tried to explain to his mother-in-law, that when he met Josiah's father, I can't remember the guy's name, you know, he expressed his intentions to adopt Josiah, and the guy said to him, to be honest, man, it hurts. I know I haven't been there. I've been in jail, and I've not been there to do what I'm supposed to do, but I'm going to try and fight to get to know my son better. And Ralph said that kind of cut into him. And being a man and a father, he had to emotionally try to understand and respect how this man was feeling. So I can understand that. You know, it's not like he was trying to do something that is kind of below the bed. Does that make sense? I really understand where Ralph is coming from. So anyway, that was his reason. And so they carry on. And so in support of Ralph's book, you know, Drew and her mom and all of them had to take photos, you know, photo shoots for the launch of the book. So then we see where Marlo is now at home. And before then, I forgot to say, in the earlier scenes, they showed us when Marlo was speaking to her sister, you know, the one that's looking after the two nephews, who apparently is a mother of 4 already and working as well. And so she and Marlo were talking, and Marlo asked her, have you told the boys they're coming home, and all that kind of thing. So now we see Marlo with the nephews. They're back home to Marlo's. I don't know if they're still back home now as we speak, or was it just for the show? I don't know. And anyway, they were there, and Marlo asking them, did you miss Auntie? And they, just in a soft way, telling them, you guys have got to step up, help Auntie, and learn to be responsible. And then she tried to make them something to eat or whatnot. They kind of talked around, in the kitchen and all that. So it was nice, and the boys said they missed her, and they missed, the clean home. Of course, Marlo is a woman on her own. She's a momty, as they call it. She's looking after her nephews, her sister, who has a mental issue and is in jail somewhere. So she stepped in, and apparently we saw when she kicked them out, and there was a lot of backlash on that, because being someone that's been through the fostering system in America, and you're not kicking out your nephews, aren't you actually subjecting them to the same or potentially similar emotional disruption that you claim yourself you had? So it was nice to see Marlo and the nephews. Then later on we saw, I beg your pardon, so later on we now saw Drew again, and Shereé calls Drew and suggests that she and Drew team up together and combine finances to throw a surprise birthday for Marlo and Kenya. And to be quite honest, watching it myself, in my opinion, I thought, isn't that odd? I mean, Marlo and Kenya have been at each other, or rather, Marlo has been attacking Kenya all season and even seasons before. What two odd people to throw a birthday party together for? And they planned on keeping it a secret and all that. And I'm thinking, Drew is still not seeing her leg, her surgery, but God bless her husband, Ralph. He helped her organize the party and all whatnot, the balloons and all whatnot. And so eventually, before the party, Shereé came by, and then Drew was innocently showing her, the balloons, $700 this $1,003 this. And Shereé turns around and says, I didn't ask you to get this. I didn't ask you to get this. I'm like, Shereé? I mean, this was the lady. First of all, she was the one who suggested they threw the party. She came over an hour late and left Drew to do everything. Now, Drew has done what basically she thought both of them were combining money to do, and Shereé was not implying she wasn't ready to pay for anything. In other words, I mean, we know some people on the streets have accused Shereé of not paying people when they work for her, allegedly. That was one of the things Drew brought up in the earlier episodes. I don't know. That's just what is out there. Now, here is Shereé. You suggested a party, and now you're saying you're not going to contribute. I mean, how does that even make sense? Anyway, so suddenly, I can't keep up with these ladies. Remember when this started? Shereé and Tanya were the first to come and see Drew after her leg surgery. Now suddenly, because she said or implied she wasn't ready to pay, there she was now, almost, how would I say it, going back and forth with Drew. And they were beat at each other. I'm like, Then in the confession, now Drew brings out the invoices that Shereé implied they were not true and she wasn't paying. And saying, I kept the invoice because I want to make sure you pay your own part. Anyway, she left. Then eventually, we saw later that evening the ladies came by, and then for the party, and of course they didn't tell Kenya or Marlo that they were doing a combined, more like intervention. It's not really a big party, but it was a nice thought, I think. Just trying to bring peace into the group. And so we saw, that made me laugh. If you watched it, please go back. You see where Kenya came to Drew's house. She didn't realize the party was part of hers and Marlo's. And she leaves her lovely car, goes to the door, and as she was arriving, Marlo was arriving at the same time. And what did Kenya do? It's not funny. It's so funny to be that way. I thought it. And Kenya, not even recognizing Marlo. Marlo knows how to hit below the bed, but her mouth's up, and you can see it's paining her, but she doesn't just know how to bite her tongue, say sorry, and stop insulting people. Anyway, but Kenya got to the door, opened the door, and literally shut it in Marlo's face. Sorry, it's not funny. It's naughty Kenya. Anyway, Kenya shut the door in Marlo's face and just walked in. Hello, hi people, and just didn't even say anything. Anyway, the Marlo soon comes in and made a comment. Oh, imagine, why would you want to shut the door in my face? Come on, Marlo, you're asking the same person you've been poking. You're lucky she is not even doing worse. Anyway, so then they all sat at the table and then began to enjoy themselves and trying to talk and make peace and all that kind of thing. And I think it was beforehand. Soon they started playing the game Drew suggested, a never before kind of game, question and answer. And then the first one was, how would you feel if someone called your husband aggressive? So in other words, shading towards Kenya. And then Kenya was just Kenya knows how to handle herself with class. Just ignored it. And of course, Sanya jumps up, in fact, even mistakenly threw Drew's standing chair on the floor. I'm thinking, gosh, I hope that's not broken, because no one likes to have a one-off color chair in your dining set. And so she stands up and starts screaming, well, what I'll say, again, shading on Kenya, well, I want to say, you wish you had a man like him. I'm thinking, girl, get out of here. That is so nice, 1970s. I mean, you're telling another single woman, more or less like you're shaming Kenya because she hasn't got a husband, because she's just going through the divorce or something. Be a bit more sensitive, Sanya. In fact, Sanya, to me, hasn't quite got the emotional intelligence to know how to read the room and sometimes be a little sensitive to other people's feelings. But then here we see Sanya, whenever something happens she doesn't like, she's the victim. The other person is now the villain. Anyway, all Kenya just did, which I would have done, was just laugh it off. In fact, to me, Sanya looks stupid and childish, making that kind of silly comment. Big deal. You may be your husband, it doesn't mean everybody wants a husband like yours. Good luck to both of you. Anyway, and so then the second question was, what did Drew ask? What would you do if a certain someone is supposed to contribute, I'm paraphrasing here, is supposed to contribute money with you for a birthday and refuses to pay? And of course, it was all directed to Shereé, and Candy, obviously she knew already from where she was sitting, was like, call them out. And we saw before then, Shereé told everybody how stressed she was about bringing in the products for her fashion show. And apparently, the things are now stock in, guess where? She said, in Alaska. I mean, Shereé, if you're gonna lie, girl, let's call it a lie, and something about this bush. Alaska, that's as Candy even said, is that the best lie you could come up with? You can come up with something after all this talk, you spent $1 million and you've been trying to organize this, and now your goods are stocked with DHL or somewhere, or some postal thing in Alaska. Come on, girl, you gotta get up with some better excuse. Anyway, So that was it. And then Shereé stood up and deflected. Oh, I've got my fashion show. The way she said it, I was thinking, is she saying she's got fashion show because she's not going to pay through her own half of the birthday they threw for Marlo and Kenya? Or is she just deflecting and talking about this fashion show everybody can't wait to see? And so they started, deflecting and all whatnot. Then the next scene, we saw Shereé go to a coffee shop, and then the suspense was there, and we wonder, who is she gonna meet now? Is he, who is she going to meet there? And it turns out to be Phaedra's ex. Anyway, she was meeting Apollo, and anyway, it was nice to see Apollo again. He's looking alright. He's looking fit. Yeah, and they talked, and then she asked him, would you mind modeling on my show? And Apollo was okay, I would. And so they talked a little bit about her ex, what's his name, that was in jail. She wasted her life waiting like a teenager with no brain. And they were sorry. And so they were talking about what do you call, Apollo was trying to explain to her, sometimes some of these men, when they're in jail, they keep a woman out there and make you believe just what we knew, only Shereé didn't know. You're the only one, and sometimes implying that, oh, probably he was having different women visit him in jail, and meanwhile Shereé was outside there for over 5 years, behaving like she was the only girlfriend we're gonna marry when you come out from jail. Apparently some of these people in jail, they play women, and some women are crazy enough to get themselves involved with somebody you're not even sure you can account for. And anyway, so they showed Apollo and Shereé. They talked about the fashion, and then it was interesting when they showed Apollo in the confessions. He mentioned, I'm paraphrasing here, that when he went to jail, Phaedra was very cold. And to be honest, this is a human part of us. There are two ways of looking at it, okay? Yes, Phaedra was your wife, and the wife should stand by her husband. But what Apollo was forgetting, being a human being and a selfish human being, because human beings are generally selfish, generally, unless they make a conscious effort not to hurt one another. Why would you even get yourself involved in that white-collar crime? Because the crime that took Apollo to jail, was it 4 or 5 years he got in, was a very similar crime he was in jail for. When we learned that was around the time Phaedra, who was whether his lawyer or somebody, I don't know, but that was when she met him. She met him in jail. They got married in jail. So you yourself, after being in jail and coming out, and you marry this lady, successful, a lawyer, entertainer, whatever else Phaedra does, why would you, especially when you two have had a son together or children, why would you go and put yourself in the same similar situation rather than lead a clean life? And you expect Phaedra, with all that she's accomplished, not to talk about her position as a lawyer, not to talk about her position as a businesswoman, her own reputation, which was what she kept hammering, to stand by you. Because even back then, people were looking at Phaedra sideways, wondering, were you involved in this shady deal or not? It was bad enough as a lawyer marrying basically a criminal, a white-collar criminal, somebody that was involved in some kind of money laundering, okay? Then after you came out, you got clean, and you got married to this lady. You people effectively built up some little fortune together. You went and got involved and expected her to stand by you when you were going to jail. Well, I don't know how you feel, you who is watching this, but I can understand where Phaedra was coming from. She said it. What about my reputation? And I'm sure in Phaedra's mind at the time, she was probably annoyed with you. Why would you put them in that position again? Anyway, according to latest news, apparently both of them have a better relationship with for their children's sake, but I'm assuming when he made the comments about Phaedra in a slightly negative, shady light, that maybe Apollo at that time they weren't, as close as they are reportedly better friends now. So if Phaedra was cold, I would say don't blame her. You should have. I don't understand this with human nature where even when we as adults know the wrong thing and we decide to do the wrong thing, we look at the victims. The victims are the people we bring shame to, the people we hurt. When they react the way they need to react to protect themselves, then the victims are looked upon like, oh, you're evil because you're not doing this or standing by me or joining me to fall and lose all in the name of love. I don't know. Anyway, that was more or less what happened. And that was more or less where the program, this episode took us to. And so it was nice to see Shereé. It was nice to see Shereé and Apollo, have their nice talk and or what have you. And bear with me. And so we are now looking forward to new episode to see what will happen. Most likely, we heard we are going to be seeing Shereé's Shereé's fashion show, and so we hope. If I'm not wrong, don't take my word for it. I think the fashion show might be the end of penultimate one to the end of the season. So it was really nice seeing Shereé and Apollo, be able to have this nice chat and talk a bit. What's his name again? Shereé's ex-boyfriend that was in jail again, and we're also hoping that Shereé this time would definitely bring on her will definitely bring on the fashion show, because they showed us a little bit of clip towards the end, a bit of drama, and we are Tyrone. So I don't know if Tyrone appeared or not, because they kind of flashed like a suspense thing. And so we are, for me personally, I can't wait to see episode 17, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 15, episode 17 next week. And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to support my channel, share this with your friends and family, and please by all means make sure you hit the notification bell so when I upload a new video, you'll be amongst the first to know. And on this note, I thank you again for joining me, and you have a wonderful day, evening, wherever in the world you are. And I say thank you again. Don't forget to subscribe, and please hit the like button. It's free, just to help my video and the videos like this to go more viral and be enjoyed by people like you who might like the Real Housewives of Atlanta shows. On this note, I say thank you again, and bye-bye.